My 30th relationship with my older brother, 35M, is strained because he keeps choosing to stay with his abusive girlfriend, 36F. The title explains a lot. I know from a past experience with an abusive ex that it isn't always easy to leave someone who is toxic for you. I also have heard advice from others telling me to support my brother. I am hoping to get more insight than that. Hopefully, this whole pandemic situation will be resolved soon so I can afford a therapist too. My brother, John, can't seem to let go of his on and off girlfriend of 5 years, Lisa. Honestly, Lisa is the closest person I can call an utter boss. She belittles John, often comparing him to other men or her exes, starts fights over the littlest of things, does not respect our family, she talks rudely to my mom, she shat on my career, and does not respect people in general, especially because she's a MD and thinks a lot of people work lowly jobs compared to her. Occasionally, their fights would get physical as well. For example, she's threatened to jump out of a car on the highway during an argument as a means to gaslight John, and punched him in the face when he tried pulling her back in. On top of all this, Lisa never apologizes for anything she has done. John has mentioned breaking things off with Lisa at least 5 times since the beginning of this year. I was happy last week that he mentioned that it would be over between him and Lisa. He mentioned the same thing at the beginning of this month as well. I thought he was 10,000% sure about it this time, given how it was the second time in less than a month that he wanted her to leave. I checked in with him as often as I could because he said that she would be moving out on the first week of December. He always seemed to take my advice with grace and trust. I really thought he was making progress. So, I live a few hours away from John and my mom. I told him a couple days ago when I was hitting the road. He asked me if I'd like to stay over at his place. When I asked if Lisa was there, he told me yes. Things are better now but I'll explain it later. WTF. Needless to say, I decided to stay at my mom's house instead. I had informed my mom that I thought that John had decided to get back together with Lisa. She knows about Lisa's abusive behavior, so she was not thrilled with this either. She said that we would need to talk some sense into him when he came over for Thanksgiving. My mom asked John while he was here if he had gotten back with Lisa. He wouldn't give a straight answer and said, not really. We are just working things out one day at a time. This was the kind of answer he always gave every time he ultimately decided to get back with Lisa. I can't deny that I feel livid. When I was younger, I made the stupid mistake of putting an abusive ex over my family. My family, including John, lambasted me for years that I felt I had to do everything I could to redeem myself. Now, I can't help but feel like he feels that it is okay to do the same thing to me. I had made it really clear to him that I cannot pretend that I like Lisa or that I am okay with him staying with Lisa after knowing all that she has done. I don't know how I could act fairly if he continues to stay with Lisa, especially if he brings her around because, 1. If I pretend that I am okay with her, she will continue her abusive/manipulative ways and John will continue to take it. 2. If I let it be known that I do not like her, Lisa will know that John has told me things and may do something to hurt him. I am sure that John and Lisa will come to visit me in my town sometime in the future. He never travels solo anymore since being with Lisa. I really feel like refusing to even see them, to make it clear that I am not happy about John's decision to stay with Lisa. But again, I don't know if that is fair. I am so sorry if this becomes a mess of a text. I can only talk about this so much with my mom before she asks me to stop talking about the negativity. I feel like there is a lot to this situation that I may have forgotten to include, so I can answer any questions to clarify things. ETA, because I think this is important. I asked John last week why he felt that he could not let go of Lisa. He said he thought that things would get better over time, especially because they live together. I explained to him the cycle of abuse/manipulation and he agreed that was exactly what was happening. Too long didn't read. My older brother has decided to stay in a relationship with his obviously abusive, on and off girlfriend of 5 years. I feel so angry and almost betrayed. I do not know how I should continue acting towards my brother when he brings her around. People usually stay in abusive relationships cause they don't feel they deserve better. And you can't just change how you feel. You need to work with reasons why he feels like that. I think you should understand your brother well. Why did you leave your abusive ex? What was the last straw? What did you think right before deciding to leave? You both had have abusive relationships. That's no coincidence. Guess the reason is somewhere in your relationship with your parents. If you can find and solve it, you might be able to help your brother to solve it. Anyway, take care of yourself. I am really sorry. There isn't that much you can do, and I wish there were. My only advice is to do a web search for how to help a friend in an abusive relationship. It's basically the same thing for friends and family. You can't do much, but you can ask questions and try to encourage them to come to conclusions that promote leaving. But far too often, you have to spend a lot of time watching somebody stay in an abusive relationship. There's no need for you to have any contact with Lisa at all. I'd tell your brother that you said it all already. He has the facts and it's his life, but your life is yours and you don't want to have Lisa in it. So he can visit you on his own, he can talk to you but never about her unless he leaves her. If he tries to argue, remind him of everything that he was telling you when the situations were reversed. Then tell him you're not discussing it anymore. You're not punishing him, you're protecting yourself. It may be a push for him to end things, it may not be. But you're not helping him by letting him keep in front of the family the illusion that Lisa is not abusive. He is, and he is going to have to realize it sooner than later if he wants to ever be safe. It's difficult for men to see that they are abused because they're usually stronger than women and taught to not show weakness. It's an extremely harmful stereotype that men cannot be victims. Consider showing him love is respect. Google this, it's a website with resources for victims of abuse and people in toxic relationships. Encourage him to browse through it and keep an open mind. It helped a lot of people here, maybe it'll get through to him. Hey there, I hope you're doing alright. I can understand that you feel this way, especially because he's your brother and you know he deserves better. I've seen a case like this with a few of my friends and also myself. I've been through an abusive relationship. In my experience, I used to hold on to the hope that he will change. But this is character and character don't change. Know what you mean by your family lambasting you for years. My family does the same to me. It is hard when they bring it up all the time. How people helped me to snap out of it was how my doctor told me that I need to choose for myself. My neighbor overheard us arguing and she told me how manipulative he really is. My friends pushed me to leave him, and lastly, my dad told me to have some self-respect. He is manipulative. Knowing this, I just told him I needed to stay with a family member. Didn't tell him my actual plan. Even without telling him, he gaslight me the whole way I walked out, and then cut off all forms of communication. This way I felt the freedom without him that stops me from wanting to go back. I don't know if this is going to help you. This is just my experience. I hope your brother finds the strength to pull away. Maybe offer him a holiday where you two can have a bonding time. Maybe a few days away from her will remind him of what not being with a toxic girl feels like. Good luck and stay strong. John, I love you, but it breaks my heart to see you abused like this. You deserve better than this, and I can't keep spending time with you while Lisa is in your life. Know that if you ever need help to leave her, you can always ask me for anything, and I'll never judge you or think less of you. Am I wrong for telling my Sorta friend's ex-husband about her cheating? Hi there, I'm a long-time lurker on Reddit. I've never posted anything on here before and I'm typing this on my phone, so if I mess anything up, please go gentle on me. So here is some backstory. I, 22F, have this friend named Alice, 21F. We have been friends since childhood, but we have not always been close. When we were in high school there was a lot of drama and my mom had a lot of issues about how she was treating me as a friend, so she advised that I keep my distance from her. After the manipulative way she treated me, it has been hard to be close friends with her. We have maintained our friendship, but, like I said, we aren't close. She was always a very jealous friend, like I couldn't hang out with a mutual friend of ours without her blowing up our phones as soon as she found out type. Now, she's kind of like an on/off friend for me. Like we will talk every few months and hang out, but we really don't talk a lot. If we weren't childhood friends, I don't think I would still be friends with her because she is not my type of person. She's very impulsive and she's never been one to be totally honest because she cares a lot about outward appearances. Alice is on her second marriage. The first was to a guy that she was on/off with in high school that joined the military. I think that she married him to make the relationship relationship work. Long story short, she separated from him 6 months after the wedding. She met her now husband, Tyler, within a few months of being separated, like she left her husband 1 month and met Tyler the next. Once her divorce was finalized, Tyler proposed to her like a month later and they got married 3/4 months after that. They've been married for a little over a year. Okay, now on to the situation at hand. Since COVID, she's started texting me and talking to me more, and we've hung out a few times over the past few months. My boyfriend and I have been over to her and her husband's house for most of these visits, and let's just say, it was kind of clear that they didn't have a good relationship. Not like abusive, more like sort of toxic. Like they're both good enough people but they clearly shouldn't have gotten married. They would be like arguing in front of us and it would just be so uncomfortable. Tyler is in the military. About a month-ish ago he was in the field and Alice invited a few people over to her house. My boyfriend and I went over and we hung out with her and 2 other people. One of these people, Jason, has been best friends with Alice since high school. Listen, men and women can 100% be platonic friends, but that is not the case here. Jason has loved Alice since he met her. She has stayed friends with him but confessed to me over the summer that she thinks her and Jason would have worked out in another life. To my knowledge, nothing happened between them before this night. Anyways, while my boyfriend and I were at this little get-together, Alice got pretty drunk and started talking to me about how she's unhappy with Tyler and how much she thinks she loves Jason. I advised her to not make any rushed decision, like sleeping with Jason, while she was intoxicated. I tried my best to keep her from doing anything with him while I was there because you know she's married. My boyfriend and I ended up leaving that night, but Jason stayed later than us and I'm sure you can guess what happened. The next day, we had dinner out and we happened to see them there, so we decided to hang out. Alice told me that she slept with Jason and how much she's into him and that she wants a divorce from Tyler. Once she could get in contact with him, he was still in the field at this point, she told him that she was unhappy and wanted a divorce. I honestly feel bad for him because I could tell how much he cared about her, and despite their differences Tyler is a nice person. I hate that she cheated on him because no one deserves that, especially not in a marriage. I think that everyone deserves to be happy but not necessarily at the expense of other people. I wish that she had just divorced him and then started messing around with Jason instead of the other way around. The day after Alice told Tyler that she wanted a divorce, Tyler texted a few of the people in Alice's life. To my understanding, he sent 2 of her best friends a text wishing them well and basically saying goodbye. I'm like 90% sure that they didn't respond because they are very loyal to Alice. I got one too and I decided to be cordial and reply. Nothing serious, just like well wishes. Over the weekend Tyler texted me and was asking about Alice. He was asking if we knew what happened between her and Jason those nights we hung out with them because he knew they were together that night. Alice has posted a lot about Jason since they got together / she separated from Tyler, so it wouldn't take a genius to be suspicious of what happened before their separation. My boyfriend and I had talked about it prior to this and we were seriously considering telling him because we would want to know if we were being cheated on. So, I gave Tyler my boyfriend's number and my boyfriend told him what happened because I just couldn't do it. Today, Alice was texting asking what I knew about my boyfriend telling Tyler about her cheating on him. I didn't say much over text, but I called her and told her that we did tell him because we felt that it was the morally correct thing to do. I felt like she put me in a situation where I had to choose between my loyalty to her and my own morality. She sounded kind of pissed on the phone and that she couldn't understand why me, her best friend of years, lol no, couldn't just come to her first instead of inadvertently telling her ex-husband what happened. I feel torn. I feel like I did the right thing by telling Tyler what happened, because I would want to know if it were me, but I also feel like maybe I could have talked to her about it. Asking her about it didn't even cross my mind because I know that she'll never tell me the whole truth about something. I feel like if I talked to her about it and not told Tyler, that the truth never would have come out. She has always twisted a story to put herself in the better light. My boyfriend has said that we didn't do anything wrong, but I just don't know. I can handle it if I am, but I just need to know, am I in the wrong here? I'll edit this post for clarification if need be. Too long didn't read. My not that close friend cheated on her soon-to-be ex-husband. He asked me about it and my boyfriend told him. Was I wrong? How can I put my wife first without losing myself? Update, I start counseling on Tuesday with an LPC that specializes in CBT and hypnotherapy. We are semi-separate for the moment, with me taking over the loft in our garage, an almost literal representation of the doghouse. She is against counseling and I quote, "Why should she have to pay for someone to tell her what she already knows and what she has been tell me for years." Just a note, my insurance would be covering the bill, but she considers all funds to come into the house hers as she manages the finances. New too long didn't read, mild progress in a direction. My wife, 38F, and I, 39M, are essentially at the cusp of divorce. There are lots of factors, but the big one for her is that she feels ignored, disregarded, a stranger in her own home, and that I don't treat her like a person. She says I always put myself first and always turn any conversation about her needs, her emotions, etc. into something about me. My background is pretty straightforward. Broken home, abuse, father-like figures, manipulative mother, depressed coal region area, and lots of fighting since I was 8. Basically, if I didn't think of me, no one else would. Too long didn't read, how can I become second, as my wife puts it, without losing myself in the process?